Back after the break, but Rodri's clearance on the line, Guardiola was celebrating that like it was a goal as well. Fantastic clearance when Fabinho should have scored, but the game had everything. It was brilliant.
It did, and it has rounded off our Premier League Sunday and of course our Premier League weekend before we head into the international break. That began in the northwest in Manchester with Everton getting a point against Manchester United, of course, Norwich getting their first point of the season, Chelsea returning to winning ways, a first win of the campaign for Leeds as well, back-to-back wins for Wolves, and 10 points out of 12 now for Arsenal. They got a 0-0 draw at Brighton. Earlier on today, Leicester let a 2-goal lead slip, 2-2 at Palace. Huge result for Spurs after 3 straight defeats, beating Aston Villa by 2-1. Real drama at the London Stadium. A late 94th minute winner for Brentford. They've done it again. 3 wins in the Premier League for the new boys. And what can you say about that 2-2 draw? It was sensational at Anfield between Liverpool and Manchester City. So the table, as we head into the international break, shows Chelsea at the top. But look at those familiar 4 names in the top 4 and look at them separated by only 2 points. Chelsea 1 clear of Liverpool, who are 1 clear of City and United, and also on their coattails, level on points on 14, are Everton and Brighton right in the top 6. And Brentford, courtesy of that late minute winner, have gone up into the top 7, 12 points from their first 7 Premier League games. As I say, Norwich got their first point on the board, but Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley and Southampton, 4 teams still to win this season, and Burnley and Newcastle are with Norwich currently in the drop zone.
Phil, what a game. Do you have to get your breath after that?
Yeah, you know, it's very difficult to come here with the fans. You know, it's one of the most difficult grounds to come to, and yeah, I thought we dealt with it really well today.
What was the game like in terms of the way it seesawed? Who had the ascendancy? Who scored first? You came back twice.
Yeah, man, you know, I had it all. It was end to end at times. Yeah, it was such a brilliant game, and yeah, we're stuck in there to the end, and yeah, we're happy to get a draw, and another day we could have took the 3 points.
Were you disappointed not to go at half-time ahead, given the amount of chances you had?
Yeah, especially me, you know, I had a couple of chances. You know, it's one of the most difficult grounds to come to, and yeah, I thought we dealt with it really well today.
What was the game like in terms of the way it seesawed? Who had the ascendancy? Who scored first? You came back twice.
Yeah, man, you know, I had it all. It was end to end at times. Yeah, it was such a brilliant game, and yeah, we're stuck in there to the end, and yeah, we're happy to get a draw, and another day we could have took the 3 points.
Were you disappointed not to go at half-time ahead, given the amount of chances you had?
Yeah, especially me, you know, I had a couple of chances myself. Kev had a header, back post. Yeah, it was quite disappointing not to go in at half-time ahead, but you know, we kept the momentum when we came out for the second half, and yeah, we digged in there.
You felt you should have had a foul or possibly a penalty in the first half, but was there even a stronger feeling amongst the City players that James Milner perhaps should have had a second card?
You know, I'm an honest guy. I don't like to go down when I get fouled. You know, I try to stay on my feet and be honest. You know, I'd like to see the refs, you know, reward a free kick or whatever it was, a penalty for that. But yeah, whatever it is, you know, it happens and it's football, and I thought we dealt with it well.
What does it say about City, though, coming back twice from behind today?
Yeah, it shows our character, you know. We've not won here a lot. And yeah, we showed our character when we went behind, just carried on playing our football. We didn't look bothered, and yeah, we played really well today.
Tell us about the goal. Did it need unerring accuracy? There was only a small gap for you.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of room to put it across goal. But yeah, I thought I'd just put my laces through it and hope for the best, and yeah, I was happy to see it going back in the net.
Great stuff, well done, Phil.
Thanks.
3 Premier League games he's played for Manchester City against Liverpool. He's now scored in each and every one of them. He talked about the intensity and the atmosphere. Let's see what it was like, because the former Liverpool great John Barnes was there for us at Anfield watching it. I mean, it was brilliant from a distance. John, what was it like being in the stadium to watch that second half in particular?
It was fantastic, and particularly from a Liverpool perspective, the second half, because the first half and the last 20 minutes we were hanging on. City were by far the better team. Second half we were much more intense, determined. We pressed higher up the field, we won the ball, we had some possession, and of course Mo Salah scored a goal worthy of winning any game, but it probably would have been a bit harsh on City had we won, because that's the best I've seen City play this year. They're much more intricate and methodical in their play. We're much more dynamic and direct, so it was a game of 2 teams playing with the right identity, which suits them. So it was a great game for the neutral, great game for the fans, and a fair result.
John, it's Michael. You just touched on Mo Salah's goal there. You've jinked past a few players in your time on that pitch behind you. What did you think of the goal, and where do you see him, as, you know, his standing in the game at the moment?
Listen, he's one of the greatest players in the world at the moment in time, and he's playing with the right attitude, the right commitment, and the club. This is the right club for him because the way he plays suits the way Liverpool sets up suits him. I mean, he has no right to do what he did here. You know, he gets past a couple of players, he checks back onto his right foot, and it's a fantastic finish. But this is what Mo Salah can do. You know, but as I said, it was just a fantastic all-round game. You know, in tight areas like this, you can see when he gets the ball, he's so strong. He holds them off. 3 players around him, goes past one, the second, don't let him in on his left foot, so they let him on his right foot, and he does that. So, you know, he's just a world-class player, plays in the right way, the right attitude, and I'm pleased for him. But as I said, this is the best I've seen City play. They were really good today.
What impressed you about City today, John?
With their composure, because Liverpool like to press high, they like to press hard, and it's difficult to play out from the back or play the game that City played when you played with against a team like Liverpool, who really put you under a lot of pressure. But they played through the lines, they played with composure, they got into good positions. Fantastic. That's the best I've seen them play. And of course, there's somebody standing to my left now who probably one of the best players in the world. And I think he's going to come in, Kevin Debruyne, who had a fantastic game.
Brilliant, John. Thank you very much indeed for now. The intensity of City, that's interesting. John says the best they've played this season.
Yeah, I think that's, we said already about the intensity that both sets of players. I think we can't really single out a single player today. They gave everything to the cause, to both shirts. But I think City, we said before the game, the quality having the ball, the intensity, I think that's how Pep Guardiola demands off his team. High intensity all over the pitch, be that defending or attacking. And we've seen that in spades today, and I think John's right. The draw is a fair result. The minimum City deserved, I felt today, was a draw.
And the way they came back, because most teams after that Salah goal would have been deflated, wouldn't they? Yeah,
when you've thrown everything at Liverpool, and then, you know, after a certain amount of time you're actually still behind, you'd forgive them for thinking it's not our day. We've played so well, you know, but, you know, a sublime piece of skill has gone and won the game. But no, City kept going right the way through to the end, and that's what made the game. I mean, it was 2 heavyweights going head to head for the full 90 minutes. A brilliant spectacle.
Yeah, and they played like champions, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason they're champions. We talk about them, how good a team they are, and I still think there is a missing link with the number 9. I know I'm sort of harping on, people say probably we should stop talking about it. I do feel if they had a number 9 up there as well, I think they'd be even stronger. But the players, even the players come off the bench, Sterling looked really good when he came on, and of course we talked about Foden just in an interview. You know, he is a top player, and great game today. I think for me, probably man of the match for Phil Foden today.
Yeah, simply loves playing against Liverpool, doesn't he, Phil Foden?
He does. I have to agree with Shay. I know Mo Salah scored one of the goals of the season so far, but I thought Phil Foden was tremendous right from minute 1 right to the end. Scored a goal as well, created chances, give Liverpool problems down that left-hand side. I thought he was exceptional. So 2 wide players playing particularly well, and as John Barnes was alluding to, he knows a thing or two about good wide players.
Now we're delighted to be joined by the man who got City's second goal. Kevin De Bruyne is with us live from Anfield. Kevin, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We're breathless just watching that. What on earth was it like to play in?
It was quite intense. You know, I think we played really well in the first half. In the second half, I think Liverpool found a better way to press us. But I think the way we reacted to the 2 goals was brilliant, and you know, in the end the intensity was high. But I think the way we played here in Anfield with that crowd, I think we should be pleased. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but it was a good performance.
But you did come back, as Michael says, after a lot of teams would have been deflated, and your goal at the KOPP end must have been a sweet one.
Yeah, it's a little bit lucky, but you know, we will take it. But I think after the goals, we kept under pressure, and we were trying to get forward, and you know, luckily the goal went in, and you know, unfortunately in the end we didn't really find the way. But I think we should be proud with the performance.
When this hits the back of the net, what's the adrenaline rush like as a visiting player at Anfield in front of the KOPP here?
I was just happy that we scored, and that was it. You know, my mind went directly, was like, okay, 2-2, let's go for another one. But okay, it didn't go that way, but it was a good game.
Hi Kevin, Shay Given here. Just what was Pep's conversation after the game? Was he happy? Was he disappointed? What was he saying to you guys after?
He didn't really speak, but no. I know in the halftime, and I'm pretty sure he was happy with the way we performed. I think both all 3 games this week, even if we lost in PSG, we played well, but we played against very good teams with great opposition, and you know, the way we played was really good.
Kevin, Michael Owen, I was just wondering if you could give us an insight into an away player's sort of feeling and experience of playing at Anfield. We all hear people saying that Anfield's a bit different to other stadiums. What was that intensity? What is the atmosphere like for an away player?
Well, I think the first half we did really well to keep them quiet. Obviously, when they scored the 1-0 and the 2-1, it was really loud. But I think the way we reacted was good. You know, it can be a little bit daunting, but I think we are used to playing against the big teams for the big trophies. So every team has a big audience. And maybe it's a little bit different after what happened last year, playing with no crowds. But I can only look at the reaction of the players, and that was good. So I like to play in this intensity. I
was just about to say, that these are the games every play in, because you two have obviously won the title in each of the last 4 seasons. You've been the 2 top teams. When you go head-to-head, you never disappoint.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to see these games, and I think whatever happens, whoever wins these games, the intensity, the football is from high quality, I think. And you know, I think even for neutrals it was a good game. So I think we had a hard schedule this month, but we did well, and now we have to go on and do the same.
It's been some week for you, hasn't it?
It was.
Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Well done today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Kevin Debruyne live for you at Anfield at the end of that incredible game. And let's just go back to the start of the second half, because the deadlock was broken, it seems like a long time ago, by another brilliant team goal here from Sadio Mane.
Oh, it was a brilliant goal. Yeah, I mean, 0-0 at half-time, you think, oh, is it going to flatter to deceive? Even though it was a good game, and then it sprung into life. Normally takes a goal to make a game really explode, and this was it. I mean, you just pick up Sadio Mane here. He's just waiting and waiting on the shoulder, waiting to make that run, and he runs across the face of Diaz. He's got all the momentum. You can see Diaz checking where he is, but it doesn't matter. When you've got the momentum and you're running across to stay onside, then it's very difficult to defend. Mo Salah times his pass to perfection. The run is timed to perfection. But Shea, a little bit left to be decided on the defending.
I just think as a goalkeeper, Cancelo, we talked before the game about small margins, small mistakes, and he probably thinks on the half-field line that's not a small mistake, but 3 or 4 seconds later it's in the back of your net. It's really poor defending. He's got square on to Mo Salah. He does brilliant, of course, and it's a fantastic finish, but from a goalkeeping point of view, you'd be really disappointed your defender there.
That was Mane's first touch in the Manchester City box, and that wasn't a straightforward finish either, was it?
No, I mean, he was whenever you're doing something quick, Steve, it's harder. And of course, he's made the perfect run, taken a touch, and slid it past one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Not easy. He found the corner nicely as well. And I often say, you know, it's not. People just say, oh, you got to hit the target, and that's it. You know, you've got to find tiny little gaps. When I used to run on against him, you know, they look like giants. You see a tiny little gap in the corner here or there, and you've got to find those gaps. This is the Premier League. This is against Manchester City. Top class centre forward play that from Sadio Mane.
Talking of top class finishing, Foden's goal at the KOPP end.
Yeah, it's a special goal. I mean, Jesus does brilliant for the goal as well. I think you'll see him pick it up. He prefers the right side, playing right side now, Jesus, but he's cut in from the right side here. Does brilliant. Takes 2 or 3 players out of the game, and then a bit of calmness. They find Foden. You know, Foden just holds the position, and it's the perfect way to pass. And then when you see the angle from behind the goal, Steve, there's very, very little to hit, and he hits it.
Yeah, I mean, it is the pace of the pass here from Jesus. I mean, he almost takes James Milner out of the game with the pace of the pass. He doesn't then need to go past his man. But he takes a great touch. Actually, I think his touch took him quite tight, quite a tight angle, but he hits it hard, low. Alisson, no real chance. And I mean, that capped off a great performance.
This is the angle, Michael.
Yeah,
there's nothing to hit. I mean, you talk about Ederson, one of the best keepers in the world. Alisson's keeping Ederson out of the Brazil team. There's inches we're talking here now. He's found that inch, and that's a brilliant finish.
And of course we'll look back on those next 2 goals in a moment. We have to nip back to Anfield. Brilliant to be joined live by the Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. We'll say the same thing, Andy. Great game to watch. What on earth was it like to play in the level of intensity today?
An intense game. 2 good teams going at it. You know, it's tough when you play against Man City always. And you know, first half I didn't think we were quite there. We weren't quite as good on the ball that we can be. But I think, you know, second half we were a lot better, a lot more composed, created chances. When you go in front in these games, you have to try and keep it, and unfortunately we didn't manage that. But you know, I think over the piece, a draw is probably a fair result.
Andy, Michael Owen, I was just wondering, first half Manchester City, as you say, were quite dominant, and it totally changed in the second half. What was the little change that you made in that second half?
You know, we knew they were going to come and press, but I think the first half we didn't quite outplay that press. You know, we weren't maybe as composed on the ball as we can be, and you do, when you do that, you know, you can kind of get through them sometimes, and we managed to do that. I think in the second half our press was a lot more aggressive as well. You know, when you do that and you win the ball back in dangerous areas, we won a couple of free kicks high up, we won the ball back a couple of times and countered, you know, their counter-attack, which makes a huge difference. And I think that's where the kind of goals come from. And you know, when that happens, you put them under pressure. No team likes being put under pressure. So I think second half that was the difference, and that's why we were probably closer to them in the second half.
Andy, Shay Given here, just with my Man City head on, do you think James was a bit lucky, James Milner, to stay on the pitch? Because Guardiola was going mental on the sidelines. I don't know if he was near you, I think, at that time.
Nah, not a booking for me, Shay. My God, it's like, it's one of, for me, you know, honestly, obviously Millie got booked in the first half, but it's one of the games that, you know, I think the ref, you know, done well in terms of the whole game. I think tackles went, you know, he kind of let tackles go without bookings in either team. But of course, when somebody is on a booking, it gets heightened. But you know, for us, I think that was his first tackle after the booking, and maybe I'm a wee bit old school in that I don't think every tackle should be a booking. But of course, I'm going to say that. I can maybe see why they're annoyed, but you know, for us, I don't think it was a second booking. And then obviously, you know, we kind of react on that because I think Millie was definitely on his last warning at that point, and then, you know, we could manage to bring Joe Gomez on.
And you were right behind that Mo Salah goal. I mean, we keep having conversations about Mo Salah, Andy, and you see him day in, day out. Where is he for you in world football right now when you see him do something like that today in a fixture like that?
Look, he's right up there for me. I still think he's, you know, incredibly underrated in terms of the way people speak about him. The goal is something out of the top drawer. You know, it's just a shame that it wasn't the winning goal, because it certainly deserved it in a high game full of quality, two teams full of really good players. For somebody to pop up with that, it really is sensational. And Mo's an incredible pro, you know, he's an incredible footballer, an incredible person, and off the pitch he works so hard to keep fit, to stay, you know, in the shape that he is, to put everything into his game and to improve. And you know, he's getting better and better every season, but that goal was, I think, right up there with his best for Liverpool. And for him to keep producing season after season, it's incredible, his consistency, and long may that continue. But you know, like I said, it's just a shame for us that it wasn't the winning goal.
Indeed, but what about the atmosphere at that point inside Anfield for a game where you're going head-to-head again with the only other team to win the title in the last 4 years?
You know, last season, I think every team missed their fans, you know, no more than us. You know, at Anfield it can be an incredible atmosphere, and you know, the noise that was made throughout the game. But you know, obviously when that goal went in, I think it heightened. I think everyone was in shock. But you know, like I said, I just wish it was a winning goal, but we didn't quite manage to hold on, and that's a disappointment from our point of view. But look, the fans always stay with us. They're incredible, especially here away from home. You know, our away end's always packed, and you know, we never ever take that for granted. It's incredible the support you receive from this club, and that's what gives us an extra yard. And today they stuck with us during a tough first half, and second half they pushed us on. And you know, like I said, it's been great to get the win for them, but you know, there'll be hopefully a lot more good days and nights here, and you know, we'll need them this whole season.
Indeed, I understand that. And just finally, sometimes when you're playing against your rivals, is it important in these games, particularly at home, not to lose it with the fine margins later on in the season?
Yeah, look, you know, there's that many people in the race just now, but of course, you know, usually if you finish above Man City, you're doing not too bad, and you know, at the last standing. So, you know, when you play against them, we always go into games, especially at Anfield, to win. We want to stay on top, and you know, when you do get the lead in these games, we probably needed to see out the game a wee bit better. But like you said, it's important. If you don't win, then it's so important not to lose. You know, you don't want them gaining any ground, and by, you know, kind of making it honours even, you do that. So it's important now we try and kick on. You know, it's been a start where everyone's there, here and there. It's always kind of like that the first 7-8 games, and now it's going into a point where, you know, you get a run of games, and when you do that, it's important that you're consistent, you keep picking up points, and then it starts opening up a wee bit.
Great to talk to you again, Andy. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.